Alright, thanks for checking out another one of our videos here. This is going to be maybe how to test and repair video. This is old weed burner type, weed clipper, whatever you want to call it. It's a Hol-Dem Model 57. They've made about 3 different variations of this unit, the way that they look. This is probably middle of the road age-wise, probably a 70s model. 1970s model, but we're going to go through it, see if we can get it going. Might be able to, might not, but we'll see what happens. So there's our information right there. Fencerfixer.com is our website, and there's all of our information. We work in all brands of these electric fence boxes and ages, so we get a lot of old ones, new ones, but there's kind of a love-hate thing with these things. People that have them and used them for certain situations, they work really well, they love them, and they run for years because there's not much going on with them, so they're not really stressed out. A lot of empty space inside these things. I don't know why they made them as big as they did, but there's a lot of empty space, a lot of wiring. The reason why they're unpopular or people don't like them is usually it's the manufacturer that don't like them, because there's a time and a place for these things, and most people try to use them in an application that weren't really designed for, and then they just don't work the way that they think they should. They have them on too big of a run of fence. Or the other thing is that they are a weed burner, so if you get the right situation, the grass gets on there too much or whatever, and it gets really dry. These things were known to cause brush fires, grass fires, stuff like that. So that's why they became unpopular later on, and that's when solid state came along back in the 80s, late 70s, early 80s. Probably solid state was around. The clicking types. Then low impedance came around in the early 70s by Gallagher. They were kind of pioneered that stuff, and then now everybody does low impedance now. Solid state's not really around anymore. Weed burners are gone. So, but we're going to plug it in, see what it does. We might just be lucky. Something. Well, maybe I ought to pull it apart first. There's something rolling around the inside. So we'll got to drill these rivets out. There's I think there's just a 2 on the. I think got 4. We got to drill out. I had to remember how these things come. Probably got to drill these 2 off to get this front cover, and then you got to drill these 2 off here. There's one here on this side, one on the other, and this whole front and this part comes off as like one piece, and the sides and the back are another piece. So let's get a drill bit of some sort, and we'll start drilling these rivets off. I was just going to plug it in when I heard it. Things moving around inside. I think, oh, that's not good. Come on. There it goes. One down and 4 to go. Those 2 are off. That one's got like a burr on top of it, like a leftover piece of rivet. Come on. Let's try it anyways. Come on. There it goes. All right. Should just be able to take a flat screwdriver, work it off here. Well, see, part of a problem. All this stuff that was rolling around inside is from a broken fuse mount. There's 2 fuses on this thing on the front here, and one of them's all broken. So, well, the first thing we need to do is replace that, that's a pretty easy fix so far. So we'll not much. I mean, look at all this stuff they got in there. Big old transformers. What does the shock and part lanes? You got your little timer pulsar thing down here at the bottom, and it's a 3-prong. All of them, they had either 3-prong or a 4-prong deal on there. They all had a 4-hole receptacle on there, but no matter if it's 3 or 4-prong, but some were wired and set up for 3 prongs on the inside, some were wired and set up with 4 prongs on the things to go in there. But this one might be good, might be bad. When they start making noise, it's like an old flasher thing for your old cars and trucks, that the blinker flasher things. Basically the same kind of thing. It's a heating element that, as current goes, it heats up and opens and closes with the heating element. And that's what closes this thing and ties all the wiring together and makes it come on and turn off and everything. So, well, let's get this fuse mount out of here. Grab a pair of needle nose or something to grab that. There's a nut on the back side of this, so we might be lucky and it's just a fuse mount, because I mean everything else physically looking at it looks okay. And there's all kinds of different fuse mounts out there. Come on. Some are bigger, some are shorter, smaller, or whatever. But this one takes one of those longer 1-amp fuses, glass type fuses like that. Is that fuse any good? Let's check it real quick and see. Looks okay, but sometimes it breaks inside the silver part. Fuse is good. Fuse mount's no good, so we'll get rid of it. Go grab another fuse mount. See if we have one that would slide right in the hole without having to. See if you have one that will plug right in without having to modify the hole, make it bigger. This is one type we can use. It might fit. Damn, just a little hole needs to be just a little bit bigger, it looks like. It's also a different shape hole that kind of, we're going to have to drill this hole out just a little bit more. So let's get my stepper bit here. There that goes. Come on. Alright, so we've got, okay, it looks like the power cord goes to the back side, so we're going to cut this off here. Strip that back. shove it through the little hole in the terminal here. See what I'm doing. Okay, these two wires are tied together. Like one side goes to the resistor, another side goes to the flasher deal. So that goes to one side of the fuse, the other side of the fuse. Strip that back. Let's tie these two together. And what we'll do is we'll solder this one straight to the back of that, and we'll just solder these two wires right on top of the fuse. And then we'll put the flasher thing back in there and turn it on and see what it does. You might be lucky and that's all that it needs. Okay, let's get in here and solder this. Tight now. Now let's add some solder to this one. Trim off just a little bit of that. Should just be able to heat them both up at the same time and fuse them together. Fuse in there, make sure the fuse is good. Should be. Oh, damn. Fuse is hot. Let's okay, fuse is good. Check the other fuse out the other fuse thing. That fuse is good too, so we'll put. Okay. Not sure about this. This goes in a certain way. Alright, so what should happen now, we'll plug it in. Hopefully it doesn't blow a fuse. Flip the switch on. And it takes about a minute, give or take, for these lights to come on. And we'll see what happens. So flip the switch on. Got to give it a little bit of time to warm up. If after a couple minutes, give or take, if it doesn't go to lighten up, we'll try another canister thing on there if I've got one. While it's warming up, I'm going to go see if I've got another one just in case. Oh. the time I got back over here, there's another one. It's working. So now, careful touching things. Don't want to get shocked by one of these things. Let's arm it back like this. It's still on. Let's I'm going to go across some fence to ground and see if it shoots like a little spark time it buzzes. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, it works just fine. Now, if you ever wanted to test one of these, can't use a regular electric fence tester because these aren't a clicking, pulsing. These aren't a DC output like all the low impedance ones are. These are an AC output. It's probably about 500, 600 volts, give or take, every time it comes on. So we're going to test it. So you put your meter on. This is an auto range meter, so we'll put on the AC, put on like a 1000 volt setting, or the highest setting you got, and then there's no polarity to it, testing the output. So we're going to go across here. See, we're sitting at about 400 volts, 420, 450, 425, give or take. So I know it's in between 400, 500, 600 volts coming out of this thing. So we'll turn it off. So this thing's working great. A little flasher, it's making a little noise. It's still good. It's not really red. It's just like it's going up and down. There's no like loose particles inside of it. So now we can put this thing back together. Clean out the inside of this. Oops. Real quick. Just letting go. A little crap that might be floating around. Okay, so now we're going to slide this back. Oh, come on, what are you doing? Alright, so now I don't use rivets in them because they're a pain to get in and get out of there sometimes. So we're just going to use a screw, short little self-tapping type screw. That one's a little loose, so we need a bigger screw head. May have to run a hardware store and find some. I don't know if I've got buy these screws by the box full. I think all the ones I have are, that one's a bigger one. Loose. Yes, I got another thing of screws somewhere. But anyways, this one's working fine. We'll put a couple more screws up here. So we got to look in another drawer for some other ones. But as you can see, it works fine now. So we're going to call the customer up. Say, hey, your old 45, 50-year-old weed burner Hol-Dem Model 57 is fixed and ready to go. So we basically just put a new fuse mount on there, checked everything else out, and it's working fine. Probably let this thing run for a little while, maybe an hour or two, and see how it does. But it looks like it's working fine. So that's another one saved from the scrap heap, and that's good to go. So hopefully this guy get another while, good long life out of it. I mean, these flasher things are still around. They're hard to find, but they're out there. So Alright, well, hope you like this video and hit that thumbs up button. Tell your friends about us. And until next time, see you later.